Hello and welcome to Asylum Atelier. Welcome to Creative Discourse. Welcome to Bed Painting Friday. Yeah, I'm back. A little late, but I think that the important or famous saying goes, better late than never, right? So I don't want to talk a lot at the beginning because usually I talk throughout the whole stream a lot. So I want to jump right into it. I'm going to continue with the same setup, with the same idea, with the same task the last week, and actually yesterday even, exploring just how far I can push inexpensive materials, inexpensive tools, and main focus is on get across the message, get across the idea of what this painting or sketch should be, and you know, in general, perhaps the easiest way how to describe this would be focus on that visual dialogue, I guess, would be the best way to describe it. So yeah, let's get right into it. Important for me, and I guess for you, is that you join me and you will paint or create rather alongside me, because that's, I think, the only way how you can really enjoy this stream. I'm thinking the idea of this, it's very simple. When I say of this, I mean the idea of stream is very, very simple. It's more like a shared atelier kind of a setup, and we discuss creative process. We talk a lot about what art is, what could be, what should be, maybe. Some of you, my head is probably in the way as always. So yeah. Oops. Okay. Too much stuff around me with my ghetto setup. So I very quickly, because I don't want to go over and over again the same thing, let me just double check if I switch to a proper, the camera is going to shake a little bit. It is, no, it's not the proper one. So let me switch this. Okay, cool. So I'm working with inexpensive, some of you might call them trash materials, just the garbage, I would say, just the cardboard from boxes that you can find in every grocery store. This is like a little piece of foam board that I found outside, and I'm using very inexpensive pigments. Well, some of them are, you know, because I'm experimenting with them, it's acrylic, and I have an old cheap brushes. Last time I was working, yesterday actually, I was working only with this one brush, which is really old, and I have one flat right here, and the bucket of water. That's it, and some paper towels to clean my brushes. That's all. Nothing super special, no specific palette, no specific colors. So I use the simple palette, which is white, yellow, red. It might seem like it's orange. It's a vermilion, kind of a, I think it's a something like vermilion. It's not exactly a vermilion. I think it's like an analog of that. So it could be cadmium red. And then I have a blue, this is ultramarine. And yesterday I was using, and this is really strange, let me show you. I should probably, this is new for me as well with acrylics. So when I squeeze this pigment from this tube right here, look how way brighter it is. It's the same pigment than yesterday, and when it dries out, it goes. Well, this is really, really difficult for me to understand right now, and it's great. Look at these ones. These are completely dry, and they're very close to actual pigment. So when it comes to acrylics, this might be actually very important. If you are, if you really want to go for like final paintings. For sketching, I don't really mind that much, but I see how much more dark this area is right now than yesterday. And I attribute this also the fact that this is the dry state of, this is a fresh state of the pigment, and this is a dried state of the pigment, which is way darker. It's almost like that ultramarine that I was talking about yesterday. And this is again the ultramarine that I used before, and it looks again different. This one looks a little brighter, which is vermilion. This is the new squeeze, and I can't really tell the difference between these two old ones. This is from this right here. It's from last week. This is from yesterday, and this is today, and I can't really tell the difference between them, which is great. When it comes to for me, when it comes to trying to match the values then on the canvas, and white seems white, so there's no surprise there, and black is black. That's that. So for me, immediately, because I don't have that much experience with acrylics, this is very, very strange to see. I'm, through and through old painter. So yeah, let's get back to this. I also promise you to continue working on this, only because I want to show you the Bad Painting Friday. Should be really about the bad paintings, and this is really, for me, this is not like childish, like when kids are painting. This is childish and naive in technique and in the results right now. So I have to right now look at this, and I have to understand the ego that it's inside, and it's pushing me to start, show them, everybody, how good of a painter you are. That's not what I want to do today. And I have to think of this as a process where I'm trying to discover something new. So, yeah. Let's go for it. I'm just going to start with light, trying to make all of this lighter, and I'm gonna go with white. I'm gonna use a lot of white because I want to go opaque and just a tiny bit of that vermilion, which is kind of orange. But as soon as I add a little bit of white into that, it turns into kind of a rosish color, and I love to use it because it's very when I mix the with oils specifically, when I mix it with white, a little bit of yellow ochre. I don't have yellow ochre. This looks like a cadmium yellow medium to me. When it dries, it immediately gets very close to my skin tone, and I like to use it as a base for a skin tone. Sometimes I get the questions about how do you get the skin tone. There's, as you heard this a million times for sure, I'm sure that you heard this. There's no such a thing as a skin tone, but sometimes, or not sometimes, I think better question would be like what is maybe local color that I should start when I'm thinking about pigments. I always use myself and my skin, and I have like a lighter area. I'm looking on my armor and I'm lighter, a little more reddish, and then that's what I use all the time as a reference. So I'm looking at my skin, and this would be probably the lightest value, almost like a highlight even. But as immediately when I start adding a little bit of that orange is not going to get lighter on value, but it's going to also get cooler, because white makes pigments a little cooler. And I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to warm it up again, and then I'm starting to get closer and closer to a skin tone. But I'm not working on the skin tones, but what I'm doing right now, I'm going to neutralize that pigment a little bit, because I want to just I want to make these things lighter here. So I'm just going immediately with the skin tone, but who cares? Because I'm not thinking about anything concrete and specific, same as the last time. I just want to make this lighter. And if you know exactly what a pigment you want to use and you're working on something, specific already, or you are, I don't want to say copying, but you already have something in your mind, then you can go ahead and mix immediately. I'm looking at the camera. Let me double check that. Yeah, it looks way brighter on the camera than I see it here. Probably because I pushed ISO so much, and it might be because of the whiteboard right here. But it's trust me, it's very dark. Another reason for me to that's another thing that I like. Let me put it this way, because everything that I'm talking about here, it's strictly my opinion, and I'm not saying that I'm right. It's something that I prefer. I prefer to work with natural light, because it's every day it's slightly different. And that's how I like to think about the color lately, that it's not necessarily a color, but it is like philosophically, again, this is pretty much a philosophical channel at this point, more than art, because I wouldn't consider this as art at all. But on a philosophical level, I think of a pigment as or the color of a pigment, or hue rather, together with saturation and value and so on and so forth, as a timestamp. So let me use a little bit of this kind of a fake blue. Put it there a little bit. Nice. Maybe I could introduce a slightly larger brush, because this one's a little too small. So I have some old brushes that this one is old, but I kind of like the spring of the bristles there. I would probably prefer to use it more for oil than kind of acrylic experiments. Do I have something like right here that's poking at me that I could use? Well, I can use this one, but that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. I have some here in the box. Do I have something? Well, this one looks like something that deserves my attention. And this is, again, the old brush, very cheap one. That's my favorite thing to use, old brushes. some reason it's just a little too wonky today. Maybe I need to use more pigment. Okay, and I can tell that this is right now a really light pigment, but I'm thinking, oh, it's going to drop a couple values, so I'm going to make it even lighter to see what's going to happen. And I'm adding a little bit of that. Vermilion there, just to make it less. And I'm going to go even lighter, just to make it less like kind of a less childish blue. And I forgot to, oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. The childish means in this case for me, it looks kind of a, you know, like when you don't know, or not don't know, when you just grab a pigment and you think that you're gonna paint, and then you realize that your paintings look like they're trying to be mature, but the execution, it's like 5 years old. And I was wondering what's happening that way. And then the realization is very simple and straightforward. It's just you stopped painting when you were 5 or 7 years old and you moved to something else. So you can't expect your level of execution be like you are, 20 or 30, maybe some of you 40 that you're watching. So, if you used to ride the bike when you were 5 and you used like these, like a side wheels or whatever they call, the guards. Well, I think in baseball, I think in what's the name in bowling they have these like a guide rails or training rails or whatever, training wheels. Yeah, that's what it's. You have on your bike you have a training wheels. You're 5 years old, and then you stopped and you never fully venture to riding a bike without them, right? So you don't know what it is. For whatever reason, I know plenty of people that can't ride a bike or can't swim. I was fortunate enough, thanks to my family, that they could afford to buy me a bike when I was a child. Bicycle, I mean. So I learned how to ride the bicycle. But the point is that if you've left riding a bike with learning wheels, you can't expect right now, only because you are older and mature, that you can sit down on the bike and start riding it like a pro, right? So same goes for painting. I often talk to myself even that, Rembrandt made hundreds of paintings on the highest level. It means that he must have created thousands upon thousands of bad sketches and bad underpaintings and so on and so forth. So I can't really expect be Rembrandt unless I put that work into it. Well, I don't expect to be Rembrandt at all, but if I want to get close to that level, I have to put I simply have to put work into it. Easy as that. We play with this like a yellowish pigment, yeah. So I'm going a little bit more pastel-y kind of like, with the pigments, only because as it dries, as it kind of in painting we use term sink in, it's going to be a little bit darker, and I want to pop this a little bit, the focal point. And the reason why it's getting darker and darker, it's also, I started with very light, not very light, blank white ground. It means that if I used a little bit of water and made my pigments transparent and I layered them, the actual color of the background was shining through, and it was making a painting lighter. It wasn't value. So I have to be, mindful about that. Yeah, and also composition, since this is a composition, I mentioned that I did a couple sketches. So I kind of like this one, so I'm going to get a little closer to this one. It's like a watercolor kind of idea that I have there. And I see multiple things immediately that are wrong. The position and the angle. So I'm going to try to get a little bit closer to this. And since this is, as I mentioned, acrylic painting, and I'm just having fun, and this is a bad painting Friday, I'm just going to, even repaint the things that, I painted previously, because why not? And, you should too. If you don't like something that you see, just fix it. It's probably the easiest. And not only the easiest answer to all your problems, but the correct one. And you often see me, and even right now, I can immediately analyze the mistake that I'm making. I'm fussing around all this, and I did not address what this is yet. I'm thinking about that it's a wing. I'm thinking about it's a person. I'm thinking about this, that, and I have to address this as soon as possible. So, I mean, today for sure. Maybe this could go a little higher and go like so. Right? So you can see me lying to myself. I'm not necessarily lying, I'm just lying is the wrong word. It's that feeling of, sometimes, not sometimes, we are afraid of things that we don't understand. So this is one of those moments that I don't understand. What am I supposed to do? And I'm looking at the oil painting that I showed you yesterday, the start, and I'm looking at this, and I like both, and I want to put both of them there. And maybe both should be there. So somehow I haven't found meaningful combination of these two things. So, like when you think about, I think it's called Venn diagram, right? You have those two circles, and when they meet, that's probably the, not necessarily a correct answer, but, or whatever you're looking for, but it's worth to explore or experiment with that, to say the least. And yesterday I changed it to this direction, the front. Maybe today I'm gonna go that direction, just for fun. Can you imagine? And believe me that I am doing this with my commission paintings, with everything. So I'm thinking maybe this should be lighter as well, that the boat kind of a thing, or boat shape, or whatever, like a raft shape. It seems like maybe it's too dark. Maybe I made it like way too dark. So let's lighten it up a little bit. I have plenty of dark paintings, and you can see them behind me for sure. And I'm kind of tired of having only dark paintings. Not necessarily I'm tired of them, it's just everything is dark around, so I want to make something a little bit more fresh and playful. And that's why I started with this kind of a setup, to make it look like a childish painting. Not necessarily because I wouldn't be able to correct it or paint it exactly. I have plenty of those, but I want to avoid repetition. So I'm making it bigger again, which kind of puts me into a position that I always remind you of, and that is that if I change something here, maybe even think like this, it's going to affect the whole painting, always. Another thing is that I was talking about those borders. I should probably reinforce those borders. So let me just, oh, is this yesterday's pigment? Okay, so I didn't squeeze a black. Pigment. So I'm just gonna grab black pigment, and I'm going to reinforce those borders with like really dark paint. I mean, you don't have to do this if you work on your sketches, but I like to have the clear border because that separates the random brush strokes that go out and kind of help the composition. It happens to me probably a million times. And the best example is some of the paintings, or not even the paintings, even that's kind of weird for me, even like instructional videos, that they don't address this particular problem. It's all everything. It's almost like a like vignetting these days, and everybody makes these vignettes that there's something is here, and then the rest of this is completely like just the background, and it looks cool, it looks nice, but then when you are adding all the pigments and paint, and you're finishing your painting, and you want to put, let's say, some kind of a color right here, suddenly you are dealing with a completely empty space that you don't know what to do, and painting kind of falls apart at that point. No schools are actually that I went to or had a chance to visit, and even videos, instructional videos that I saw, they don't really address that enough. I know that people that work in the entertainment industry, they always talk about, oh, make a frame around. But they're more, actually they're more interested in, oh, you're making frame because you have some assigned frame, or it's like 16 by 9 or whatever is the, yeah, I think it's 16 by 9 or 4 by 3 because of the panels and all of the comics and graphic novels and so on and so forth. But it's very important for classical painters as well. If you, I believe that Richard Schmidt is the very famous like a famous painter that really dealt with or really kind of brought it to a mainstream, that vignetting and the kind of a, for me, I'm talking about myself, and I really liked that because it looked fresh, it looked kind of like impressionistic, but with a modern twist, and people still love that. But it doesn't work with the large paintings. Small painting, small problems; large painting, large problems. And suddenly, out of these small empty spaces that were just like a little brush strokes, you have to address them. So let me check if I have, because I'm again rambling and I'm not paying attention to chat. Oh, hey guys, Tanner is here, DM7. Good to see you guys. I'm sorry I was not paying attention to chat for a while. Let me address that problem. Let me set up a. Let me move some of the things to my secondary display. Then my notification about you being online is broken. Sorry for being late. Oh, you're not, DM. You're not late. There's no such a thing as a late. You are right on time. You are right on time. I'm just, bed painting. So we're all good. I was late myself. I started at 2, or maybe, I don't know, maybe even at like 2:30, 2:45 even, maybe, I don't even know. So I'm continuing with that process of searching. What I want to stress most, who cares about whether or not you're vignetting? Who cares about every other stuff that you should put there and you should focus on and make an industry standard and I don't know, whatever. What is the most important part for me that I'm really enjoying to paint? That's the only important thing. Seriously, truly, it might sound cliche, it might sound strange, weird, stupid, pretentious. We'll fill the blank. But I really like to do that. And I know a lot of people say that they like to do it, but it feels to me performative. So you're not late, you're right on time, you're here, you're painting, it's all good. So welcome, DM. And welcome, Tanner. I'm sorry, mate, I was not paying attention to chat, but I guess I have you right now on the secondary monitor, so let's start a creative discourse. Friday evening, chilling. I'm gonna miss my Friday, but when I was at high school, and I'm pretty sure that Tanner, if he's still here, he knows because we used to be classmates. Friday night was always the moment when I was outside with him. But today I'm inside, kind of in the isolation, having fun with pigments. Who would have thought of that? How cool! It says you started streaming 45 minutes ago. Yeah, gotta keep closer eyes on the notifications from you. From now on, I'm sorry. I'm just it's the display is really far away and it's small, so I can't really read. I'm blind as a bat. Where did I put my charcoal? About these notifications about where I'm online and where I'm not, it's going to be difficult for me even to know because, you know, so much stuff that is happening. I don't have a charcoal here. What am I going to do? Isn't it somewhere here maybe? Well, I have a little piece here, but I won't be able to draw the other one. Okay, let me find some charcoals. Oh, actually, I was talking about the little sketches. I was I was having fun with the lime, so I did like a little lime gouaches. It's kind of fun, and this is what I'm talking about. That I wanted to be a little bit more experimental. So I was sitting at the table with the computer, just procrastinating, and this is what I was. This is the part that I was missing. Because it was difficult for me to get to a large canvas and start painting because it requires a lot of like a mental strength for me to get behind that because it's like a serious work. And as I mentioned, right now I'm just enjoying and having fun with these small little sketches, and it brought me closer to what I like to experiment. Would talking in the caps help? I think that maybe visit to a professional and check my eyesight would be the answer. Caps look, it's not really the issue here. My laziness and but I appreciate DM. Oh man, I miss you so much. I appreciate your quick solution to a seemingly complicated problem. No, DM, it's cool. It's just me. You know that when I'm painting, I don't really know what's happening around me, and I'm just having fun with the pigments. So, and I've been zooming in and out because I'm composing and I'm trying to think of a composition, and my mind is right here. And whatever I'm saying, please take it with a grain of salt. Well, it's just my mind when I paint, I can't really control it. So sometimes, yesterday I was rewatching the stream and checking if, you know, if everything is as it's supposed to. And there's like moments when I'm quiet in the middle of the sentence because I'm doing something else. It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's what it is. Don't mind me, I'm silly. Now that you mentioned about painting small, I've been thinking about that for a while. I should do more thumbnail sketches and paintings. No worries. It's something that I think I rediscovered. Well, it feels almost like, you know, like I rediscovered wheel. It was here all the time. It's just that's that pretentious part and performative part that I was talking about. That somehow you have to do these big paintings because that's what counts. And I have them right now, and they and they are there. But you know, yeah, I still don't feel satisfied enough. So, and I was thinking like, what's missing? And I found myself in what's the word that would describe it best? I found myself in. I ask myself a question when I paint and when I create. Is it because I want other people to give me compliments? Or do I want to communicate some ideas, whether or not I receive compliments? And I was afraid and it just kind of got in, like, you know, I'm pretty sure that you know that imposter syndrome and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of got into me that maybe it's all just performative. So I had to step back a little bit and think about it. Because I want to create, I really do want to create a cool paintings. And I wasn't sure if I'm making them cool because I want praise, or if I'm making them cool because I think that they deserve to be cool, like internally. So I sat down and I just, you know, what can I, how can I change that? And I think it's probably also, you know, linked to the fact that I did a lot of commission work, and you know how much I struggle with commissions. So I did small thumbnails, and I did like I don't use Copics, and I promise you that I show it to you. So I have a, you know, like a little sketches that I did in a train, right, while I'm sitting with 2 simple or 3 simple markers. It's like a, you know, like you have these markers that can kind of they have no, they don't have a full strength of a blackness. It's like a 30% gray and 50% gray, and then, you know, black. So that's what I did. I was experimenting with these, and you can see that some of them are, you know, I'm moving the goalpost. I'm shifting it left and right, and I have a bunch of them. Let me show it to you, because we talked about this. Beautiful. These are not to be. Let's not get caught into whether they're nice or not. They should be primarily helpful. That's what they should be. So let me just bring you. It's just something that I do in the trade right now, and I'm taking like long train rides, and it's just because I enjoy to think visually. So, and it's maybe because I was working on these ideas, and I'm trying to communicate a little better with the viewer, and I want to get simpler because of Turner and Wyatt. So I did a couple sketches, and these are mostly, I see something in the window of a train, so I just do a quick sketch. But these are a little bit more maybe, and I think I was showing them yesterday. So these are just the things that I quickly see from the window of a train, and it just passed by, and I'm trying to recall it from my memory as accurately as possible. So these has, you know, just a quick kind of an ideas, and I'm restraining from full black only because I don't really need to go black. It's just and there's a bunch of them, but you know, I'm not going to bother you with like going through all of them. So you can see that there's a lot of steps before I really pull the trigger, so to speak, quote unquote, on like executing a large painting. And this is nothing. This is maybe like 1% of the stuff that is behind that, because I don't know if you're familiar with, and I don't want to do any, you know, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but I kind of, I started to write a lot. I also wanted to work on 3 values thing like you did. Well, yeah, things like me, and this is something that is so refreshing from, you know, because I was really so focused, so dialed in, like really locked in, as you know, as the Twitch streamers like to use that word, locked in. So I was so into these large, complicated paintings that it really, like I mentioned at one point, I felt like perhaps I'm doing it and I'm adding these things only because I want to show how good of a painter I am. And that was just, it really crushed me. and crushed me like in a positive way. It just it moved me to another kind of another level. I was, streamers level up, right? So that's what I really like right now, not to be performative. That's just that word somehow stuck in my head, and I don't know why. Maybe I heard it somewhere, or it's being repeated online a lot, or maybe I'm just tired of that. All these everything seemed the same. So, and I did not want it to fall into that category. And the same goes for stream. It's not like I didn't want it to be here. It's just it didn't feel right, because I wasn't sure what am I doing. But I know what I'm doing right now. I'm having fun. That's cool, and I'm glad that you're here. It just makes me feel alive. Okay, and right now I like a little bit more of this being this direction. I understand what you mean. I feel same sometimes. Gotta pause and reflect, and now and then. Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. It's just that. It's that I'm pretty sure that everybody has this. This is not like me, thinking of that somehow special. It's more about being honest, because I know that you guys are here, that you're working in, and multiple times I promise you that I'll be here, and I was just. It's not that I was not. It's not like I did it on purpose. It's more like a. I wasn't sure if it's a. If it's bringing value to a conversation about art. And then I remember that, it's just, it's mostly in my head. Thanks to, believe it or not, thanks to, I just finished a beautiful, beautiful novel, I guess, by Dostoevsky, that I haven't even, I didn't even know it existed. Well, not that let me rephrase that. I know that, what he wrote, but this is the one that it was not on my radar, let's put it that way, right? So, and it's called, what's the English? Well, I'm gonna think of it, how to translate it properly. Or I should probably Google it, because it's important. Let me just Google it. I'll have to move here. Yes, Fyodor Dostoevsky. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry, I'm just, I'm blanking the name of the book. And I'm trying to open my PDF file with books. Because I have so many that I started, and it's some. Where are you? Where are you? Notes from the Underground. Okay, that's the English translation. Okay, I found it. Notes from the Underground, and it's like a really short novel or story, or it's just it's awesome. It's not necessarily easy to read, especially on in his native language, in Russian language, but it was so good. It was so good. It's just I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Read it. It's just described so much about what's in my head, and perhaps it's not even real. I'm just, and I don't know how Fyodor is doing it to me. Like, how does he know what I'm thinking and who I am? But he pinpoints me all the time. I can't. I really can't deal with him anymore. In the it's just he knows me so well. He's not here, but he knows me so well. And there's very few authors that can do that to me. But when I was reading it, I was sitting. I remember the realization. I was sitting and reading it, and I felt like, how does he know this? Like, he is not here. There is no way that he met me. How does he exactly? It's I don't know. I just and it's not, I'm not comparing it right now to a. You got me intrigued. I'm going to add it to my list. Oh, this is not for everybody, because it's more, well, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't read it. You absolutely should, but it's more. How would I put this? It's like it's still Dostoevsky and his kind of cool books, or cool writing style, like that realism, the Imperial Russian realism, and about how people really are. Not, and that's probably, that would be probably the best. It's not about who people think they are, but like in deep down, he was on the money, on the point about, like, dude, check yourself, because this might be about you. So, yeah. So it's more like a philosophy, not more like a sociology. Sociology, is that the word? Oh, ads. I'm sorry. I have to do something with it. You might have missed something what I was saying. I was just continuing praising that really good. Writing style of Dostoevsky, and how he really knows me well, or knows my inner thoughts. And if you let him, when you get into that reading, and if you let him to really get into you, in terms of like, okay, this is what I'm doing on a daily basis, this is how I behave. It's just, I don't know, like I felt like because it's kind of like a diary style, and I'm not going to say more so I don't spoil it, but still spoiler alert a little bit, just a little spoilers. um, it is like, since it's a diary, it felt like it's the diary that I should have, because it's very close to how I behave, how I overthink certain things, and how I, put meanings into stuff that does not really, probably doesn't even exist, and how that affects my decisions. Very cool thing, very cool thing. It's kind of like I enjoy philosophy. Yeah, me too. Me too. I read a bunch of books, and I'm not saying that I'm a like a like my education is not philosophy, but interestingly enough, my kind of like a state exam was from philosophy. So we discussed in St. Petersburg, right, at the academy. So I have like the basic knowledge of philosophy. I read a bunch of cool books, and I should probably put Dostoevsky in that category. Of a philosopher. Same as Orwell, George Orwell, same thing for me. You'll have to read it. I'm taking a peek at Goodreads review, and one dude said he was mind blown. Yeah, it's just, but I have to, like I said, no spoilers, but you have to let, maybe it's because I'm also the part, Dostoevsky and Russians and like the central part of the Europe and eastern part of the Europe, it's kind of populated by Slavs, right? So we have a similar mentality. I don't know how it's going to work with you, but I let him enter that kind of I put myself into the state of, okay, I'm going to be open-minded. I'm not going to, because sometimes you argue with book, oh, this is stupid, this is not true, and I don't know. If you do this, you're gonna miss a lot. But if you let him to just really dissect you with words, oh, it's just, what? How does he know all this about me? So that's how powerful it was. And what I wanted to say, actually, that I'm not sponsored by anybody, and this is not sponsored and whatnot. I write a lot these days, and I'm using that software or app, if you wish, program. It's called, I believe, Obsidian for writing, and it's like a specific way of writing and organizing thoughts, and it's kind of like a web of random thoughts, and you're connecting them. Oh, I use Obsidian too. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people are using it. I'm just not sponsored by them, so I don't want to, give you any reviews or anything like that. I'm just saying that, I'm not affiliated with them. I don't want, I'm not sponsored. It's just something that I use, and the way how that software it's organized, it's really how I think inside my head. And I wanted to compare with this Dostoevsky, that how he organized the book and how he progressed it and how he just describing a certain things is just, it was perfectly set up for me. I'm pretty sure that your Obsidian is different than mine, but somehow Dostoevsky wrote that book like he is directly in my notes on deepest secrets and so on and so forth. That's what I meant. Now I know what you mean. It's handy for making connections, like a web of information. Yeah, and every one of us, we have a completely different one, and we just follow a certain, like, different patterns. And I'm not a scientist to give you the exact I can't really tell you exactly how it works in my head, but I would assume that the way you connect things is different than I'm connecting them. Well, obviously, and it feels like Dostoevsky tapped into something with this particular Notes from Underground, that absolute, the true foundation, for lack of a better words. I can't really, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a philosopher. I don't know how to say these things. It's, we talk about Turner, we talk about Rembrandt, we talk about other painters, but this is Dostoevsky as someone like Andrew Wyeth to me. When we think about a visual storytelling or visual information or visual philosophy, and then Dostoevsky, it's a text or language. So maybe I could just move this a little bit. So if you have a chance, it's really short. It's it's just, I'm pretty sure that you can, I don't read very fast, especially, Russian, but I'm pretty sure if you sit down in English, a day, it's like 6 hours maybe in total reading time, I guess. So it's really short. No, it's less. It's like 5. I'm playing a little bit with that shape of the. Yeah, I think I still don't like this area right here, so let me. It's something about this right here that doesn't really. It doesn't have. I want to have it like the nice kind of a flow through here. Nice, I'll make it my priority. I have a tendency to choose a huge book that will take forever to finish. Yeah, that's see, that's exactly what I guess is that being mature is forcing us to do, like being adults. That we just I have to prove myself that I'm a painter. I have to paint big. Oh, I'm a intellectual. I have to read these like heavy, huge books, or I don't know. Like I'm a musician. I have to compose symphony to be worthy of other people's attention or time or whatever. And then if you find out that it's not that easy to write a symphony. Maybe I'm not ready to write even a jingle. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel with a painting. finally I'm back with just. I hope that someone who's listening to me, I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen, but if someone is listening and want to really, really learn on someone else's mistakes, this is probably the moment to learn from. I've been feeling the same way the last few months. Yeah, it's just I don't know what it is. It's the time of the year. I don't know. It's just like or whatever, you know, like maybe it's in the air. I don't know. It's just you have to do big things. You know, like a amazing. No, you don't have to do nothing. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just enjoying myself. That made me realize I should slow down. Well, you know, if you're under the stress of, you know, commissions and stuff, I'm not going to get into it because, you know, I can tell you that, yeah, maybe you should slow down, maybe you should take a break and, you know, go step by step, but it's not going to happen. I can talk about it as much as, you know, like forever, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be under the stress. That's just how it is. But there are some moments that we could be just. What helped me, I have to say, it's I'm waking up early morning. And it gave me to the point, and I hate to wake up early. I really did. I used to. It's about finding the right balance. Yeah, absolutely. For sure. But to finish the thought, I used to hate to wake up early in the morning. It's just why I'm a night owl and I work better evenings and so on and so forth. And maybe it's true. I don't know. But then, right now, if I wake up like 4:30 a.m., I'm so excited to be awake. I'm first, you know, first person awake. I think of that like this is almost like this is naive. This is so funny. I feel like, oh, I'm the first awake. The whole city is for me, and city has a different colors. The vibe is a different. It's like I'm in completely different space. So it's like a different space-time, right? To be a little bit more, we were philosophical, right now let's get mathematical. So it's like a different space-time, and it's just I'm enjoying it. I still don't want to wake up. It's just I have to force myself. But then I kind of like in my head is like, oh man, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be so super cool. It's just that the leaves are going to be different. That the air is everything is different. I didn't even know that there is another world while I'm sleeping. And it's not the Friday night kind of a world. It's more like Sunday morning or Monday morning. Like I'm the only. This is so funny. I'm sitting in the train with the smile from ear to ear. It's like a 6 a.m. and when my train leave from the station. So at 6 a.m., you know, like people are busy, they're going to work and so on and so forth. And I'm smile from ear to ear. Having just, you know, blast, being wake up. And you see people like, oh my God. And you know what? My roommate from LA, when I used to live in LA, in Torrance, it's a part of LA, it's a suburb. He used to wake up and be happy and dancing and smiling and singing and, you know, doing breakfast, and I was miserable, and I was asking him about this, like, how are you so happy? Like, there's nothing to be happy about. You just wake up. And he was like, well, that's the main point. I'm happy because I'm awake. I'm alive. I'm doing whatever I want. And I was like, dude, this dude is pretentious. I have to say that he was he was 15 years ahead of me in thinking. Oh yeah. and now it's you. You're doing the same thing. Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. And I don't. And you know what's the because this is just like, you know, like when you. Like while I was smoking, I used to smoke. Not anymore. I'm healed. I'm recovered. Well, sometimes I can. It's just like a social thing, but it's very, very rare. But the worst people, when I used to smoke, the worst people, the absolute worst people, were people that quit smoking and they were talking about how they quit smoking and how cool it is. I hated it so much. I hated it so much. And I promised myself that I will never do it when I quit. And I don't. I don't complain about smoking. I'm just like, I just move away. I just move out of the way. But trust me, I can't help myself to just talk about how cool it is to waking up early morning. I'm that annoying guy that just runs around and like, dude, everything, all the problems you're gonna solve by waking up at 4:30. I'm just waiting for someone to be like, dude, shut up. Shut up. If I told me the younger version 15 years ago that I'd wake up early, I'd laugh at myself. Well, absolutely. I would be like, dude, it's cringe. That's what I would say to myself. You are old and no one cares, man. that's the information to to all of you young people that are here on stream watching. Probably not, but you know, maybe there's some kind of a lost soul doing some quest on Twitch, you know, like it's a or on YouTube, because I multi-stream. Like it's a quest in, I don't know, like it's a Skyrim or Elden Ring or something, right? So just like the quest that you didn't know that exists. Maybe if there is some young people here listening to us, that would be. I'm not saying that you are not young, DM. I mean like younger people, right? Yeah, age will catch up with you. Oh, for sure. And I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I actually, I was. There's some cool stuff that happened to me a couple weeks ago. For some reason, I wanted to go to swim because I need to exercise my spin. My back, it's hurting. My spine, my spine is hurting. And I need to just release a little bit of pressure. So I wanted to go to a swimming pool, right? And believe it or not, swimming pools are expensive. At least here, for me, for sure, they're expensive. It's just something that I'm not saying that's like, you know, it's not like a golf, but it's still expensive for me compared to like running. You just, you buy shoes and then you run, right? So I was checking the prices, and it was like really, really like too much. And I was contemplating like, what am I going to, what I'm not going to indulge myself with, so I can go to swim. And then I saw, and this is like so off topic. It's like an Obsidian note. So I was reading like what kind of discounts you can get, and one of them was that people who donated blood more than 20 times can get a discount. And it was ridiculous, like discount, like ridiculous in terms of say a couple cents or maybe 10 or 20 cents. It's just really like, like why even bother? But then I realized, oh man, I'm going to do it. So I went to donate blood. I'm donating hair, so I was like, okay, well, I'm donating hair already, like I can try blood, right? Dude, I have to tell you, best experience in my life. Oh, not best, one of the best experiences in my life, for sure. The treatment, the people were awesome, the amount of information that you get there, and the camaraderie and just overall, because usually when you go to like a hospital or like a whenever you have to deal with health, it's not pleasant. But this thing, oh my God, it was so good, and it made my day so good. So if you feel down, and I'm not saying that you have to go to donate blood. I'm saying just the happiness is state of mind. I mentioned that multiple times here, and instead of just making someone else's life miserable, I just decided that, oh, I can actually help someone, and I can get a discount into a swimming pool. Unfortunately, you have to have 20 donations, and I thought like, okay, I can go tomorrow. I can go once 3 months. It means that the moment the first discount that I can receive is going to be in 2030, according to my calculations. So not really a what do I say, that's not the it's not the short term results that I was expecting. This is a long run. So but you also receive a tea, you get like a lunch there. They give you fruits. I got apple. I actually want to paint that apple. Maybe next time we're going to paint the apple that I received when I went to donate blood for the first time, right? People are really, they appreciate you. There was a dude, and it was ridiculous. There was a dude, and he didn't have arm, and he went to donate blood with his other arm. I mean, what am I even doing here? Like, there are people that just like, dude, like, how do you even do it? There are so many good people out there, like genuinely good people. So I just felt, it almost felt, do you know how it felt? It was like I'm in a cult, like a happy cult. It was awesome. That's what I'm trying to say. So find something that will not only make you happy, but and if it's beneficial and you can just, it has some meaning. Oh, dude, I felt my whole day, my week, imagine me, how annoying I was. In the train, in the morning, day after donating blood. Dude, unbearable, unbearable person. I wish I would never meet myself, or you know what I mean. Like that's just too much. Will that apple last until then? That's awesome. I did a quick sketch. Where did I put it though? Because I was playing with the watercolors. Let me just see if I have it somewhere here. And to answer to your questions, yes, apples can actually, if you store them properly, they can last the whole winter. You just have to be careful. You have to, where did I put it? It was somewhere here. I'm pretty sure that I was playing with it the other day because I wanted to do something. It's probably somewhere around the studio. Is this it? Oh yeah, I was playing with the acrylics, well, with the watercolors. So, and it just again, it was just on my. Is it? Yeah. Well, I don't think that you can see the whole thing. Maybe like this. This is gonna be better. Yeah. So I was just having fun, and I just got my watercolor set out from the storage because where else would it be? But if you store apples properly, because I'm from a village, we have a couple apple trees, and we used to also grow our own food, like potatoes and tomatoes and corn and whatever else. I can't really, carrots and like just vegetables. And we also had apples and pears and walnuts and so on and so forth. Anyway, you actually, if you store them properly, they're just going to last the whole winter. Onions, same thing. I think I mentioned this when I was during the pandemic. We went to paint to a monastery, and they told us that they will let us paint in the monastery wherever we want, but we have to help them to separate the onions. So there's a specific, like a checking method for the onions, because they grow their own food in monasteries. So we were checking the onions, and we received like a quick kind of a crash course on how to separate the onions that they will last the whole winter, onions that they have to be used like within a couple weeks, and the ones that they just have to be processed immediately, either making some kind of a jam out of it, or pickled them, or something, right? So the same thing goes for apples. If you store apples properly and you separate them, they have to be, I know this about apples, that they have to be okay, because it's also a saying, if I'm not mistaken, also applied, you can apply it in English language, that one bad apple is going to spoil the whole basket, right? So you have to be careful, you have to make sure that you have them, you control them, you check them, and then it's just, they will last even more than a year. Same goes for potatoes. So, plus when you think about it, the ones that you buy in store, they're also being coated with wax, if I'm not mistaken. So it kind of preserve them even better. That's why they recommend you to wash them properly. Well, minus the bacteria, right? So. Plus the store-bought apples, they are not, usually, they are not ripe. So you have to wait a bit. Same goes with the, well, unless, I'm talking about the imported like avocados in Slovakia. Oh, dude, you cannot get a good avocado. Whereas in California, oh man, that's a different story. And Mexico, completely different story. And I remember I had a classmate from Colombia, and she said that avocados in Colombia are so sweet. I think, or Venezuela right now, or Chile, because I'm kind of mixing different classmates probably. Anyway, it might South America, Central to South America, and she mentioned that. Oh no, it was a Philippine. Anyway, avocados are so sweet that they are making a sweet stuff out of them. So. And if you want to preserve even vegetables in your and fruits in your fridge, don't put bananas next to it, because bananas kind of, for some reason, they kind of accelerate the ripening process. Is that a proper word? I have to be careful not to say the inappropriate word. So yeah, well, so far away from painting, so, but it's cool. We're having fun. I don't know about this right now, and I feel that this could go maybe even a little higher, so I could make a little bigger opening here. Let me see if I grab a charcoal, and I'm thinking only about the shape and how it relates to, because that would make the opening a little bigger, and maybe I could, because I want to show the tilt, but also kind of a balancing part of it. Yeah, this might be better, because somehow in my sketch here it looks way better for some reason. I don't know. And I can't get the shape. Well, I know that I have a slightly different position. That's true, because I'm working with the multiple different sketches, right? So I'm thinking about how could it be and where it could be, and I'm kind of starting to like this area right here, right now. That might help. So perhaps pushing this a little bit more here could help a composition. So check this out. I'm just going to paint into this. Let me just undo a bit. I hope that you still will be able to see it. So this is why I like to work with like cheap materials, because I can always just, it's all. So I'm going to move composition a little bit. And I don't want to start, I could start a new sketch, but for now, I just want to see what's going to happen. So I'm going to extend it till here. Same goes for, how do I separate it? Maybe this. My apologies, I'm going to be in there. Because I have a tape there. So I can get rid of it, and there is a still. Safety net. Okay, so if I extend it, it would push him out of the center, and I will get a little bit more space on this side, which might help compositionally. Yeah, banana is known to help and accelerate the wrapping process. Yeah. So I'm not imagining it, so you know about that as well. So cool. So confirm. And this is the moment I was talking about, that right now you see like I have pigment on the brush. I can make a mark that is semi-transparent, and the whiteness of canvas underneath, it's going to give me a lighter value. So going back to main thought or main focus of this is just the fact that maybe I should. I didn't even realize when I was adjusting the settings, maybe just get it a little bit higher. I'm sorry for this. This is just this has to be so annoying, but it is what it is. So you can see the full frame, what I'm talking about. I'm gonna add a little bit of that background, but I want to slightly. You see that fresh color, and you know I mixed it, and I add a little bit of dark, and so why have I done it? Because when it dries, it's gonna get here. So I have to actually make it lighter. Maybe I would like to make it a little bit more kind of a purplish pigment, but you see like this kind of a purplish thing right here. It's not purple, it's just a combination of a blue, orange, and blue that was underneath. It's just so I have to layer that, because I put a orange, if you remember at the beginning of the last session, or yesterday actually, I put a so this could be a nice base for me right now. No, it can't. But I will wait a little bit till it gets a little dry, and I do a couple more layers on top of it. Only because I'm thinking about composition. And maybe, see, right now I have this kind of centralized, so maybe I can start working a little bit with the background to get more like some kind of a movement there. So the awkwardness that was here, I'm going to extend that awkwardness and maybe make it a little more active. So I'll counterbalance that placement. So the end of the composition is right here, right now, which gives kind of a nice. Maybe I could add a little bit of. See, this is kind of a nice kind of a. Something there. Yeah, see, it's just, it's all about that composition, kind of experimenting with it, and having these little sketches all around me, and you can put it into whatever file you have. Having these little small sketches, small ideas, like for instance, even the limes. It's can you imagine that how, like, you remember I talked about those happy accidents a lot during the streams, that when you look at here, like the shape of that lime that I was painting, it's similar to this shape, and I'm working with the lime and the cast shadow and the frame just to find something interesting there. It's the same principle. Like, you don't, just I think that most of the give me a second. I have to check because I'm not sure if I'm still streaming. It seems like I am. Double check. Yeah. So going back to what I was saying, working with the composition and doing kind of a random sketches and thinking about these happy accidents. It is a happy accident that the Lime and the experiments look similar to what I'm working on right now. But I couldn't plan that. Maybe subconsciously I was thinking about the same shape. I don't know. It's just it's kind of nice to see that. Not nice to see. This is a good kind of a, what's the word that I'm looking for? Proof is in the pudding, probably not the one. But what I'm trying to say is that even though that you might think, and I'm saying might, I'm not saying that that's what you are doing, but you might think that these are not, like, why would I do these small sketches when I want to do big paintings and whatever? Or why would I paint fruits if I want to paint futuristic machines and whatnot? It's about your imagination, because who would have thought that the lime and the shape of the lime, or a veg, lime veg, would actually help me to think of the shape of a boat or canoe, or whatever that is, right? So it's just, it's more about our lost imagination than anything else, that we are so specific about stuff when it comes to composing, that we are so hung up on reality. That's probably the what I'm looking for. And it doesn't have to be that way. You're doing the Obsidian version of art. That's exactly what I was about to say, DM7. That's exactly what I was aiming towards. So that's why I actually mentioned that Obsidian, because it's somehow these links of what is happening with I mentioned that Dostoevsky somehow connected with the stuff that I was writing about. It even connected with the smell of tea that I had that day. It was just I wrote a short kind of like a essay to myself, like a small paper for myself with a certain ideas about art. And it's just somehow these random thoughts that they were there, but they were not connected. The brain forced that connection. That's a scientific research about this. When they're testing, and we don't know how brain works. Well, let me rephrase that. We're not sure exactly how certain things works in the brain. And one of them, it was an interesting podcast that I listened to. It's called Within Reason. It's more like a religious, philosophical, or religious versus, it was more like a religion versus atheism kind of a thing. Or at least it's being accused to. I prefer, I think it's it's a kind of a modern discussion about atheism and religion, and maybe you heard about that. He's quite popular. On YouTube, Alex O'Connor, I think it's his name. I don't remember. He's like a main. He's the owner of the IP. Again, I'm not affiliated with him. I'm just referencing that. That's what I was listening to. And they mentioned there that there was some research that is being done on what the brain is and where the consciousness is and so on and so forth. So it doesn't really matter. It's not the point what I'm trying to make. But what I'm trying to say is that they mentioned one thing. I think it was a doctor or researcher or philosopher, doesn't matter, that when they were testing and searching for thoughts, and I don't remember exactly what the experiment was, so really double check me on this. Even if I'm actually, I've seen it, I think I've seen the podcast. I don't usually follow podcasts because I can't hear, so it's hard to follow. Usually I need my eyes for something else like art. Yeah, I'm sorry, DM, that you, but I'm pretty sure that this is more like a YouTube. So it's the podcast in terms of. I'm pretty sure that he's writing as well. So probably there is a written version of this, if you really want to read. But it's not really that important. The important part is that well, it is important for you. Sorry, so many thoughts at once. It is important for you to get familiar with it and make sure that you have access to this information. It's more about me trying to finally, after like 20 minutes, get to the point, which is really difficult for me. So please don't take that personally. I didn't mean that you are not important or your situation is not important. It's more of like my suggestions how to deal are, I'm not talking from my experience. No worries, nothing taken. Okay, cool. So what I'm trying to say is that a research that they were talking about is about the thoughts and where we store the thoughts and how our brain processes an information. And they find out by accident that the information stored in one part of the brain in one period of time, they were expecting that when they get back to it, it's going to be in the same place. So they will see it light up on the scanners or whatever the device they use. And it wasn't there, but it doesn't mean that the person forgot the information or forgot the feeling, or I don't exactly remember what they were referring to. But the thing that they were supposed to be there in the brain just moved to some other place. But the person still remembered that, or still had the knowledge about it. It just wasn't there. So it almost feels like a brain is moving and shuffling things around constantly and reorganizing them, and kind of it almost feels like it's like every day, like you have a new shelving system which is a little bit more improved and better, maybe better organized, and I found it so interesting. And these are the things that I kind of connect together with the Obsidian note-taking and how thing moves and improve, same as the composition exploration, right? So today I have it here, tomorrow I want to have it somewhere else. I started this way, tomorrow I might wake up and be like, this is not what I was looking for. It was a really, really long way to get to the point, and I'm sorry about that. And I see that there is a moment when I should stop today, because the little sliver of light is starting to interfere with my, well, or we're going to continue, and it's going to move somewhere here, and it's going to give us some randomness, again, happy accident, or whatever they call it, production value. So let's see some production value. It needs to go lighter. So I'm just going to go directly with the, I forgot how much I like a little bit more textural approach. And you see, again, I went outside because somehow I felt that I need to go up there. So maybe this wasn't the best way to approach this. Maybe this is too much. So again, I have to reinforce the edges, so I have them, so I can't get out of those edges. Only because I want to keep myself in the composition, or within the. Yeah, that makes sense. Brain evolves continuously. Yeah, and it's just brain evolves, but and you know, to add to your thought, that's what I was thinking, that not only it evolve, but also they were mentioning, like, I'm looking for right words. It was almost like we can't really deal with we don't understand what 12 chromosomes are doing. They were testing some kind of a squid or something. There's very little chromosomes that they can actually count chromosomes, and they don't understand how they work and which chromosome is responsible for what function at the given time. It almost seems like it's free for all. Like today, I'm going to use this chromosome for this. And it's kind of like difficult for us to even like comprehend, like, how is this? So the conclusion is, before I sign off, is that just, you know, it's not about painting. These streams are increasingly getting more and more philosophical and less instructional, which I kind of like, because I think that there is plenty of instructions online that you can find. Be careful with those instructions, because I found a lot of them very misleading and commercially driven, to say my piece. So anyway, sorry, I should have let you pay. No. That's exactly what we are looking for, because right now we are. Imagine there's, you know, you have your notes, and this is why I think that shared studios are so important. And this virtual shared studio, it's really, I almost feel like it's undeniably one of the most important tools in my work. And the fact that we have 2 obsidians, because like, or 3 even. Okay, I have a technical questions about art. Just a second, Tanner, I'll be right with you. I just finished, I will finish the thought. So it's like having 2 obsidians together, and just, you know, like that's an exponential growth. So DM7, please just bombard me with the questions. And Tanner, right now it's your time. So what's your technical question? Go for it, mate. Well, I hope I'll be able to answer that. Don't get your hopes up. Okay, so it's this way. I'm starting to be a little too... How do you manage to keep your paints wet? Mine tend to dry super fast. Oh wow, well first of all, I didn't know that you paint, but that's awesome. It depends what kind of paint are you using and what kind of medium are you using to... You're using acrylics, okay. Multiple factors. First and foremost, it's depends on what kind of manufacturer you have, because when you look at the paints, and we can go over some of them. I don't want to really show the brand, so I don't really. So let's say for the vermilion that I have right here. I don't know if you see it. No. Let me. Where this. So there's a bunch of text and information right here, which gives you some valuable information about the pigments. Usually it's about the opaqueness, or whether it's opaque or transparent, what kind of saturation. It means, and I'm talking mostly about oils, but right now at this point, because oils are really, with oils it's really important. And I don't want to give you a short answer that wouldn't satisfy you at all. But the most important part is that what kind of surface do you have them squeezed on, whether or not that surface is absorbent. Same goes also for brushes. What kind of brushes do you use? And what kind of surface do you paint on? So this surface that I have right here, the throwaway stuff, because you can see like it's cut, whatever, it doesn't have a proper shape. I have a bunch of them because I found them next to a trash can. It's water resistant. So what you can do is use something like a glass, maybe. That's the quick and easiest way to use something that is really water repellent, even. And then use like a white paper underneath it. When you see this palette right here, I hope that you can see this one. This palette right here, it's a wood and it's a glass on top of it. So I can spill water, I can put the oil there. It's just not going to sink into surface, because the more absorbent surface that your pigments are on, the more moisture and more liquids they're going to absorb, therefore more medium. Because whether you work acrylics, watercolors, oils, gouache, tempera, pigment, it's always the same. The binder and the vehicle that you use to apply them and dilute them, it's different. So with watercolors, it's a water, or gamma arabic as well. It's a part of the mixture. And with tempera or egg tempera, it's used to be a yolk, the yellow part from the egg. With oils, of course, it's oil, and again, depends on what kind of oil you use, whether it's linseed oil or it's a walnut oil or it's a sunflower oil or poppy oil, whatever different oils are. The pigments are going to dry differently. Good rule of thumb with keeping your pigments dry slower, it's to have compiled like nice pile, so they're not stretched thin. You see, like I'm really having like kind of a like a little hill, and I'm picking up just a little bit and then mixing only the amount that I need, and then I place it on the pigment on the surface, and I wipe my brush, and then I clean it and keep it moisturized, right? So that's one thing that's helping. And also depends on the pigments, because I'm looking here, and this pigment right here, the vermilion, the little bit more expensive one, expert or professional, I can tell that it is still kind of a gummy and almost wet, and it's week old, and it's acrylic. It should not happen, right? And then I see some of the ones that I actually put yesterday, the cheap ones from famous Swedish furniture store, and it's dry completely. And also you can see that changed completely the color. And when I say color, I mean hue, because we separate hue from saturation, or the hue from, how would I put this? We don't have a Slovakian term for this, but hue means blue, red, and yellow, and the saturation means how shiny it is, and also tone. So this pigment, the cheap one, when it's wet, it has a different saturation, it has a different tone, and it has a different value, and also different hue. With oils, I'm not used to this, so for me this is slightly surprising. Not slightly surprising. I know that the pigment shift, but the good rule of thumb for me is you can have a very cheap a palette that you're using to paint on. You can have dirt cheap the surface that you're painting on, acrylic especially because it's plastic. You can have a really cheap brushes, but don't skip, and I don't want to show because this is not the brand that I use originally, do not skip on expensive pigments. In my experience, and not only in my experience, there are plenty of books that I can recommend you. Ideally, artist handbooks, that's how they call. I would refer to top academies only, not just the random ones. And Chemist, the best research website that I have on this topic, it's Natural Pigments. It's a great company run by a couple, wife and husband. I know them personally. Husband is a chemist, and his wife is she finished the restoration school, the same one that I did in St. Petersburg at the Imperial Academy. So whenever I have some question that I cannot answer myself, and based on my experience, I go to their website, and there is plenty of information about proper surfaces to paint on, the paint application, and habits, and drying times, and so on and so forth. So I would refer you to there. But the quality of a pigment and additives, because if they want to make cheap pigment that it's a bottle this big, they need to add something into it. Rather than just the quality pigment and quality vehicle or medium. Yeah, I don't know if this answered your question. But yeah, it's just a. You can also, yep, okay, I've always was this long rant about paint, but it's very important for me with oil paintings, and especially with the commissions or final pieces or final work, it's to, everything could be cheap, that I work with, except the canvas, which I work only with the linen, properly primed, and then first sized and then primed canvas. I never do cheap ones. I never cheap out on these things, because that's your surface that you're going to paint on, and then also pigments that I'm using. These are the only important things that they really need to be not necessarily expensive, but high quality. I use household brushes, and I buy them in bulk. I have them somewhere here. I buy them in bulk, like a. Let me just grab them. They should be. Where is the? I might have used them all, and I don't have a. So I should probably go and buy them more. Got it. So because, and the reason why I use cheap brushes, and I talked about this a lot, I use them. Let's get back to philosophy. Okay, I'm overdoing it. Okay, got it. But these are very cheap brushes that I use, and I buy them in bulk. Not because I wouldn't take care of my brushes, but the surfaces that I paint on, they are rough, and I like textures. So actually, that's the same brush. It's just I completely. My canvases and the surfaces, they work like sandpapers. So I always clean them, but they're not. They're. If you use them, you're gonna destroy them. It's like a brake pads in a car. Like you're buying them knowing that you're going to destroy them. Well, I do. Back to philosophy. I'm in the kitchen with my iPad now. I'm gonna get dinner started, but I'm still here. Oh, DM, I know. You making dinner, it's my signal to stop yapping and finish the stream. I'm glad that I have you. Artificially, that's why I buy most things. What do you mean? That's to have again like a. What is going on with my? Don't stop yapping. You keep on painting forever to destroy them. Oh, yeah. That's why I buy it. Well, it's not destroying for sake of destroying them. Like I said, I take really good care. Well, okay, I'm exaggerating right now. I am taking a regular amount of the medium care about my brushes, but they're being really worn off, not destroyed in terms of that I would be, they're being abused for sure. Because also when I work with the pigments, so we can, I like to use, especially with the oils, and for those of you who watch me regularly, I like to actually work a little bit more with a thicker pigment. So the application and the way how I press, I'm not, and I talked about this a lot. I don't like to use a canvas and painting, and I don't think about painting as a coloring book. I like to actually apply pigments a certain way. Sometimes pushing the pigment, sometimes I'm scraping, moving left and right, because every brush strokes has a certain character to it, right? So I really like to, and that's why sitting is not really my way to work, and you've never seen me to hold brush like this. It's never going to happen. I don't have a full range of motion. I can't work like that. So my brushes are always, sometimes I need even longer brushes because I like to be far away, and I like to use the full potential of the brush. And that goes also for pigments. When I switch to later, not later today, but later, maybe next week, when I switch to a different canvas, because I'm painting with oil, a similar thing, right? I'll show you the medium that I use and how I mix that medium together to create a certain feel to pigments. So it's a certain, and there is not right or wrong way to use these things. It's more about what do you prefer. And actually, I would say for me, especially, it's about what painting is asking me to do. That's probably the closest I can get with the description of why certain things, why do I certain things the way I do. I use crumped paper for my brushes to get them unique texture. Okay, all right. You mean, could you be more specific? It's kind of interesting. You mean like you let it dry there, or you mean that you wrap your brushes into a... I'm kind of interested right now. I'm waiting. I'm staring at the text, and I'm thinking like, what? I want to know, because I'm kind of I have a lot of brushes, all kinds of different brushes, and I tend to stack with. I'm not really bound to one type of brush. But lately I prefer fan brushes. That's the ones that I use the most lately. With oil paint. Lots of trial and error. Oh yeah, well, that's for sure. So let me just get let me get a little bit of again, the value out of this. So I'm just trying to extend that composition that I assigned to myself previously. And I don't mind to go in, even explaining, while I'm explaining into existing painting, because this is not precious to me. And you shouldn't treat it as something precious. If you want to, explore, you're going to explore sooner or later. But if you want to really unlock that freedom of just working, it's just. See, right now I think this is lighter, but I have to understand that, okay, this is going to dry up. Yeah, I have to go even lighter. This is kind of I don't want to say difficult for me, but that's something that I'm not used to with oils. So I have to be mindful. So I'm moving this way compositionally. I kind of like this. Maybe I could push him a little bit more this way. So I get like, so it doesn't look like a stick figure anymore. And then also I would like to put a little bit more of a I love how you use brushes. They just aren't for me. Well, it's the well. First of all, thank you. I keep forgetting that I've been using them. That's probably the main added bonus to work with brush. I remember when I started with brushes, I didn't even know what I'm doing. And right now, I can't even, DM7, she was laughing like long time ago that when I was working digitally, I hold a digital pen the similar way, not like the classical digital way that you like you're holding it. It's just I can't. Well, I can, but I don't feel. I don't feel. I feel limited. I don't feel the freedom of motion and the full range that I need. And a brush, the beauty of brush and a pigment is that it always surprises you with something new and unexpected. And it's more about controlling that madness around rather than anything else when it comes to my application. And I'm not trying to control everything at once. I'm always focusing only on one edge. What do I mean by that is if I want to create a line, a sharp area right here, let's say, I have to be okay with this being all over the place. So when I place the brush, I'm keeping it and holding it, and I'm focusing only on one part. What's happening on this side, well, I can't control it. And it was very difficult for my brain to accept that, going from the traditional, just really detailed pencil drawings, where I have control over, but I have a really sharp point and I'm controlling every little line and every little hatch. And here's the thing, you either enjoy that fact that you cannot control the brush, or you're gonna hate it and you're gonna get rather softer brushes and you're gonna apply the pigments in a certain way. Both methods are valid and appreciated and also loved, and even people enjoy them. For me specifically, just for the sake of my interest in painting, because I paint every day. It's not a hobby, it's my job to paint. I have to entertain myself because it would be just like a painting offense for me, and I can't do that. I would rather do something else. So. Needs to go wider. You're right, I need to work harder. Oh, this is not about me telling you that you are not working hard. No, please, I'm sorry if that came across that way. It's more about, let me choose my words wisely, since I'm the one who's talking here. It's more about and we're going to switch back to philosophy then. Oh, I'm sorry. So switching back to philosophy, it's not about working harder. Well, of course, it always helps if you work 8 hours a day instead of 5 minutes. But I only know that I can't live without art. True, true. I think that lately it has been my uh, my savior as well. But what I'm saying is that what I wanted to say to clarify myself is that um, um, I I've been, well, when I started, let me put it this way, let me rephrase that, the whole thought. When I started, art for me was very mathematically driven. I had to hit every value exactly, every line precisely, every motion, every gesture. Like, everything was very structured, and I felt very happy with controlling everything that is happening. And that's why I thought I'm going to be, I wanted to, I really thought that my calling is to be inking for graphic novels. That's what I thought, that's what my calling is, because I can sit down and I can just do repetition motion of the lines, and I have like hours and hours of just practicing the motion. And that was, and it was literally 15 years ago, believe it or not. And I remember that I was 26, 25, 26. And I felt that controlling every aspect of that I'm checking if I have a controlling every aspect of drawing or art or motion or thickness of line, and you name it, fill the blank. It's way to go. And it also made me feel like I'm an adult. I'm responsible. I know what to do, and I know how to do it. And I remember my first day of painting being like, okay, I'm not going to do this ever again. This is stupid. This is just too much things, too many variables, and I can't control all of them. Right now, going back to that state of mind and setup would feel robotic. It's the word that I'm looking for. So it's not necessarily of working harder what I meant for you. It was more about letting that freedom, because here I feel free. Everywhere else outside, philosophically speaking, I feel that I have to follow certain rules. And I brought those rules into my own art and into my own space, into my own universe, which is this, 20 by 40 or 30 by 40, whatever, I don't know, 25 by 40. It's probably better. And it is okay when you are doing commission work. So we are focusing on the commission, and you are just really need to get down something for your, I don't know, art director or whatever, and you're really grinding these hours. Okay, just you're switched into that mode, and that's what's up. And it's cool because it's satisfying, because you have a result very quickly. You can get to results. That's not creating, though, for me. if I'm ever rich, I would totally pay you loads to ink some graphic novels. Oh man, you don't, dude, I'll do it for free. I don't really, this is not about money. This is about exactly what you like to do, and I like all kinds of weird art and also classical art, and I'm a big Rembrandt fan, and this is absolutely, this virtual shared atelier, it's really the mission statement, it's clear, and it's about that conversation. And lately I was thinking about that it's not only about that we don't have enough new creative art. It almost feels like, and it's coming back to the philosophy of a brain that we talk about, that it feels like we lost ability to read art, and our brains, because of, you know, like the constant, let's call it minimalism for a lack of better words, and I don't want to, you know, insult any minimalists, but it feels like a minimalism completely desensitized, let me think the proper words, completely numb our visual language, that we don't even want, we are not able to read a beautiful art that has been produced, and we resort towards that kind of a and I talked about it yesterday, that when I started to paint, everybody wanted to do digital art the way the classical art with the oil and that feeling of aliveness of a pigment. And I wish you could be here, even in my studio, because whenever someone comes here, it's, regardless whether you like what I do and how I paint or not, it's that presence of a material, the oil paint. It's such a powerful feeling visually that you can't really get it from the screen. And we got to the point that we are trying to right now with oil paints, because that's what we have in brains, in eyes, I'm sorry, like, because it's all over us. We're trying to reproduce the feeling of sterility, that sterile feeling of the graphic digital art, and we're trying to translate it into oil paint. And it's kind of a for me, not necessarily that I don't want it. Totally, it's a valid place to be. It's a valid thing to do. It's just seeing oil paint and work with the oil paint, especially for me, in like life, in real life, IRL. It's well, I don't know. I'm not really like, I don't meditate. I don't really do like a psychedelic drugs or anything like that, but it's very close to being. That's just it's kind of like a, I don't know. I'm not even really like a religious person per se, but it's the closest as I can get to some kind of a spiritual feeling, especially with oils. It's not like I would, you know, like transcendence to somewhere else or anything. No. It's more like, and that's why I love sculpting so much, the physical sculpting, because actually working with the material with your hands, it's just a really great feeling for me. Yeah, well said. I sort of felt like it's our responsibility to stop that from happening. Maybe it's just me. I'm 100% behind that, and that's actually one of the reasons why I'm trying to paint online. I know that it's a digital thing. but that information, it's being lost. And since we cannot read it, it's got that's like old text that we cannot translate. Or, you know, the burning of Alexandrian library is just a great tragedy that, you know, sets us back thousands of years with the knowledge, maybe even philosophy, for sure philosophy. The amount of information and knowledge that was stored there, I think, was paramount. So not being able to read oil painting, it's definitely our responsibility to change that. And when I say change that, I don't mean just to preserve it, to be able to actually move it forward and share. So I'm adjusting things around here only because I want to have kind of a nice base for perhaps tomorrow, if I won't go outside to paint, to do some plein airs. You see, like right now I moved it here, and it's starting to be a different painting. And different painting not only because I would paint something else, but even just a little bit of adjustment, and I mentioned this multiple times, just a little, you know, like a little splash of something somewhere, completely changed the vibe around the whole composition. So it's really like that brain that moves, that idea back and forth in, like a brain that moves that thought around the every corner. That's how I feel with that painting, that it's just, I'm not necessarily destroying everything that was there. I'm just moving and exploring left and right what could be and where the information is hidden. It's probably the best way to put it for me. And keep in mind that these are completely, this is not exact science. There is no, I'm not saying that I'm correct with this or you should listen to what I'm saying. This is more about having that kind of a discourse. It's called creative discourse. What else I'm going to say? I agree, we can't lose these art forms. I think more people are realizing that danger of and totally digital experience. Well, I'm pretty sure that people are realizing it. The question is, for me, is that I don't know how many of painters are actually willing to give this information out a moment when they start really profit out of it. And I saw this with my peers, and I'm still seeing it all over the place. So it's really difficult to give this out for free. Especially when you pay, and I'm not going to get into details, but $10,000, $100,000 for an education. But I believe that it should be for free. So I'm completing this or adding this part right here, and I'm starting to feel that maybe something could go here and maybe something that could push here. And I'm thinking compositionally and the movement and what is happening. Maybe this could all go, well, let me see this. Like maybe the hard edge right here in the bag it's a little too much. And I'm squinting because I'm thinking out loud with words, but right now I should probably your style is really awesome. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you like it. It makes me happy, truly. That when people enjoy, look at my work, and not only at my work, but in general at work of art. I'm really a big fan of. So if I kind of if I dissolve this edge right here, which was too literal again, I'm kind of creating completely different design there. And that's, again, my brain, it's pushing me or forcing me, or I don't know, the ego or super ego or whatever the proper term or diagnose is. It's pushing me to, oh, you have to make it exact because people, they have to see that it's exactness. It's just too much information, and it's almost like it's a sensory overload, which destroys the overall feeling of what's happening there. And I have to be really mindful about this and careful, actually, that this is what's happening. So let me just dissolve this a little bit. And instead of be specific and literal, I want to find a kind of a metaphor of what this could be in like a language terms, right? So maybe this could dissolve here, and I'm immediately can push this a little bit more right here. Oh, this is super cool. Okay, so instead of having like line and line and line and the space between the lines, right now this is the whole shape. Let me just maybe make it a little bit more visible. So the whole shape right now is this. It's going here, it's going here, it's going here, and it's suddenly this is the shape that I'm looking at only, instead of going in the background, because I want my brain to fill that gap right there, right? And then maybe I should balance it and push you right here. Question is right now, how do I keep you inside the composition? And that's something that needs to be addressed with sketches, with some other, I don't know, maybe with something, I don't know, maybe something needs to be here, right? So I create some kind of an interest. Maybe it should go some kind of a something here, maybe something that brings us back. I don't know, because composition might feel right now that it's like really going this direction too much, and it almost feels like when you're trying to balance on the slope and you're sliding down and you can kind of hold. So, but that's something that needs to be addressed. And instead of me starting a new one and then being the best with the starting position, and I discussed this with my colleagues, that instead of and you know former classmates, that instead of chasing that, you know, this is not working, I should stop and start again. Yes, that's correct. Like if you feel that it's not working, you should start again. But then you might run into problems with the composition that you know only how to start and you don't know how to finish the race. Right? So if you are great with starting the race, but not being able to finish it, you will never know what the painting needs, or what the piece of art needs, or the creative work, whatever you want to call it, in future, or rather, having a great start, it's just a one out of a series of problems that you're going to encounter on the way. So I pushed it there, and right now maybe I'm going to focus on this right here, maybe break it again somewhere, maybe here, I don't know, to make it a little bit more interesting. And that's something that I'm going to think about, not only while I paint, but subconsciously when I talked about the little lines or the stuff that I have here, which is not the same. It's far away from even being similar, but I am constantly searching for better representation of that thought that I want to communicate. So I'm thinking of this as a concept. It has all grammatical errors. It has so many things that they have to be changed. I'm okay with it. I suppressed my ego that I didn't make the best possible paintings online, and the whole world is going to see how bad painter I am. Not necessarily that I'm bad, but compared to what you're usually seeing that comes out of my studio. But it's okay, because this is a behind the scenes. This is that fog that I often talk about and I haven't had a chance to show. So yeah, I appreciate what you do. Oh, thanks, DM7. I'm sorry. I appreciate you guys are here and joining this creative discourse, because most of these thoughts, they need to be a bounce off of other creative thoughts, in order for me to know whether it works or not, right? So that's why I love Bad Fridays. It made me feel like a kid again. No need to produce anything great. Yeah, but it's easy to say. But then when the camera is pointing at me and I'm supposed to, set up mic properly so you can hear me, then the stream is not, the camera is shutting down, the light is changing, the hands are shaking, and then all the kind of stuff that someone is looking over your shoulder when you perform, and you don't put the best performance out there. It's really difficult. And for me, even right now, and you can hear it, I'm forced constantly to kind of find an excuses why certain things are there, because I don't feel comfortable to show this. This is as close as to be naked. So yeah. Because this shows like complete chaos in the thought process in my head, which you don't really like to show. But I believe that in order for us to preserve all the ideas of what art is, or painting in general, because, for example, we talked about Tiziano, or English speakers, Titian, and how he painted directly on canvas. No sketches, no nothing, just directly on canvas. And that's the approach that I really like as well, because some questions simply cannot be answered with sketches. It's just you might have some kind of a guidelines, and I don't think of these sketches of anything else, only just like those random notes. Not even the sketches that I'm going to use, but the random notes, random thoughts that I would like to apply each one of them into the final piece. So. Yeah, I understand. Pretend we are not here, but yes, I feel you. I can pretend however I want, but deep down I know that you're looking at me. Furthermore, I have to say that then I have to look at myself, because sometimes I have to double check whether or not the audio is okay, and that's painful. That's pure. That's a pure torture, as you might know. But you know, it's for a good cause. So, and on that note, I'm going to stop today, and hopefully I'll join you tomorrow. Right now I have a pupil that I am working with, and that means that tomorrow till noon I'm definitely not going to be able to, and then by the time I set this up, all shebang in the studio, it might take me a while, but I would love to paint a bit tomorrow as well, since it's Saturday, bed painting Saturday. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing with us. Of course, yeah, thank you for being here, because that's the whole point. I can talk into void, into my into my studio till the end of times. But this is exactly what I'm saying. It's what it is in my head whenever the camera is not recording, but it's just me and the large canvases. So I do appreciate you showing your process. It definitely helps me to feel better about my bed paintings and see them as a normal process, and it does help to enhance my creativity, because my brain would feel safe enough to explore. It's awesome. It's that, then the mission accomplished from today, and I'm happy that it's helpful. It's like it's nice to see that it makes sense to be here and share these thoughts. So I appreciate you guys to be here. So be safe, take care of yourself, and definitely go out and paint. Do little sketches for fun, just purely for fun. Not pointless, not meaningless. That's not necessarily what I mean, but for fun. And even if they're meaningless and pointless, and I like the lime example, because the more I'm looking at it, the more I feel that it's getting closer to what I have here, but just a mirror image to this. So have fun with it. And the added bonus of this is that unless you want to share them online, no one will ever see them. So you're safe in your own little corner where you paint. Because as I showed you right now, you don't need a huge studio. You can do this in the kitchen. It's not the best way, but trust me, I've been there, and it's possible. I don't even use the outside, and I think that even my camera died. So perfect. All right, take care, guys. I'll talk to you later. I see you later, and stay cool. Bye.